Thanks for joining me today for our practice building tip of the week. It's Carrie Nola here, and I'm really excited to support you in having the confidence, the clarity, and the skills you need to take your practice to its next level of profitability and satisfaction by having the information that you need to make really empowered decisions in your business. Today, I'm going to be taking on a question that healing entrepreneurs ask me all the time. And this question is, Carrie, should I be putting my fees on my website? So I wonder if you've ever asked yourself that question. Have you ever struggled with the thought of whether or not to include your fees for your products and services on your website? And if you have, I invite you to stick around so you can hear my thoughts about this and feel more empowered when you make that decision in your business. Now, I want to be really transparent up front about the reality that I don't know what you should do when it comes to putting fees on your website or not. But the reason you should stick around for today's conversation is because what I do know are some really powerful questions that you can ask yourself to discover what resonates most with you and your business model and your ideal clients when it comes to this issue in your business. Let's go ahead and dive right into one of the biggest questions I want to invite you to start with. And the big question is why or why not? Before we ever make a decision in our business, I think that it's crucial that we go behind the scenes and investigate why we would do something or not. What I often find is that when decisions are made from a place of fear rather than truth and deep resonation, it actually lowers the vibration of our business and drives our clients away from our practice. So, do you know why you would or wouldn't put your fees on your website? Here's what I want you to do. I invite you to empower yourself right now by making a list. In one column, list all the reasons why you feel attracted to putting your fees on your website. And in another column, I invite you to write a list of why you are not attracted to putting your fees on your website. And then just stand back and, like an observer, witness what you've written in either column and notice where your resistance and reluctance is coming up one way or the other. That way you can begin to welcome that clarity around how fear is showing up in this decision. Then what you can do is use one of my favorite questions, and I ask myself it every time I'm making a decision. If I weren't afraid, I would. And so if I weren't afraid, I would put my fees on my website, or I wouldn't. Notice what intuitively, that gut reaction that comes to the surface when you play with that sentence. Because here's the reality. It's scary to put ourselves out there. And whether you're putting your fees on your website or not, there are going to be potential visitors to your site that are turned away. There are many people that come to the site that see your fees and that don't want to make that level of investment in themselves yet. And so they will not call or follow through on becoming one of your clients. On the other hand, there are people who won't see a fee on a website, and they might assume, for example, that the investment is more than they're willing to make, or maybe they just want to know the investment up front before they call to consider an appointment. So they might journey on to another website who does list their prices. So the argument can go either way. It's less about whether your prices are on your site or not, and more about what it is that resonates with you. Another way to look at this is think of yourself as a consumer of your product or services. When you're looking for the service that you provide from somebody else, do you want to see fees on the website? Why? Or why not? And that can help you to get into the mind and the shoes of your ideal client and consider how you would like to proceed with this in your own business. And once you get some of this clarity, I invite you to choose a path and just try it out. A lot of times in our business, we just have to try things and see what happens. And this may be one of those places for you. Notice how it feels to put your fees out there on your site, and notice what it feels like not to, and see what happens. It's helpful too if you have a data collection device on your website. For example, Google Analytics is one that I have used in the past, and that's a great way to track information from the visitors that are coming to your site. If you do have your fees on your website, how many visitors are going to that page in particular? Is that a page that your visitors tend to spend more time on? Is it a popular page when people visit your website? And how many times are people calling you or contacting you through your website versus the visitors? So that's called a conversion rate. How many visitors to your website are converting into potential clients by following through, by contacting you? So those are some ways that you can explore this issue a little bit more deeply and then try it out. Here's the thing. So many times in our businesses, I feel like we're looking externally for the quote unquote right and perfect answer or strategy or approach to something. And sure, mentorship and guidance is valuable and helpful, but in my experience, there is no better mentor than somebody who invites you back home to yourself and your own truth, your own heart and soul about the way that you want to do business. Because if you want to attract your ideal clients, then you don't want to be making decisions based on other people and what they think is right for your business. You want to be making decisions that really resonate with you and the essence of who you are in your practice. So I'm so curious what you decide. Please tell us below. Are you going to be listing your fees on your website or not? And either way, tell us what you notice. And until next time, I hope you take gentle care. Thanks so much for being here.